let us look at font variant, font size, and font responsiveness as our last section on fonts. We can see here that HR, BR, H3, you can say HR, BR, then we can deal with the H3. Responsiveness is still down. H3. This H3 can be font variant. We are going to see what this does. Then realize it doesn't need much explanation. You can just have a paragraph that says this is font variant. Oh, okay. You can explain what this does. This changes these words into small paragraph, small capital letters, small capital. Have another paragraph that we can call this maybe H4, and we say this H4 could be because it has two types of font variant, for small caps and then normal, so we can use this as a way of can say now normalize it, something like that, because the tag. So we can pick this, say control, can put it here. We are saying pick the whole class and say font dash variant. Font variant, we are saying small dash caps as the option that we have here. So when we come to our text here, we can refresh our page. Remember, they were just small letters or small caps. Now you can see capital letter would be done differently. We can add a sample here, and we can add a sample here of say H5. Let's add a sample of maybe H2. It says capital letters. So we come here and pick this same class, F variant, H2. For example, at first when you refresh this page, you have them as 3 like this. Okay, you can see that capital letters. Now we can change this to text. Let me see. Okay, text dash transform uppercase. So we were specifying H2 to uppercase. Can see normally uppercase would be bigger, so these are small caps. Now you can be able to differentiate them. So we can as well say that F variant, which H here is this H4. We want to normalize it, H4. We say font dash variant normal. In case you had made something that is already under font variant and you want to normalize it, or you want only one line to be under font variant, then the rest to normal, you can select that particular class and then the specified element. When we refresh, you see now it is back to normal as it is here in our work. So that is font variant, creating small capital letters. So we can look at another one called font size. So HR, very important here for this. For web development, you will always use it quite often. You can look at this and give it a class of F size. Font size, we are going to create different sizes. Let's have this word, for example, not minding about the meaning. We're just going to use this. Then we can create other font sizes. We can give them to different classes. Alternatively, we could create the same class but with different whichever thing you would find easier. Let's begin with this. So let me stop at that. We have size, we can say size 2, we can say size 3, we can say size 4, maybe we can create another class that says EM2, we can create this as EM1. Those are also types of font sizes. We shall read about what they mean and how we come to those descriptions, or maybe we can look at it now. We can come here on our page once again, and then we read about font size. We can say font size, the font size property is used to change the size of text. It is very similar to MS Word's font size. There are limitations to using the font size property, e.g. it is not advisable to use a big stroke larger font size to make a paragraph look like a heading. So if you want to do headings, use headings. If you are going to be paragraphs, let them be paragraphs. Throughout the history of web design, font size changed based on a set of predetermined font dimensions. Some of these dimensions include XX small. You will look upon these. Font size may also be specified using pixels, points, pica, inches, centimeters, millimeters, EM, and percentage. We have two classes of font size, one called absolute, which are preferred when the output size or medium is known. We have also relative, that is largely responsive to any medium of any size. Another trick to avoid all this is to set the font size of the body to 100% and then use EM instead of pixels. So what does that mean? That if you wanted to use EMs properly, you would have come here on the body of the page here and set the font size to 100%. Okay. When you set that on the body section, how does it look like? You are saying that all this is under 100%. Then you can use EM properly. We can look at the description of EM here. They are saying one EM, because EM is quite responsive compared to pixels, but you will see very many people designing in pixels. It is the most commonly used, but if you are doing them for standard websites and where you do not understand the different size of the medium, say a large screen, a small screen, a very small screen, it is usually advisable to use EMs. So we are saying that one EM equals a 1/6 e.g. normal stroke default value of text is 16 pixels, so 16 pixels equal to 1 em, that is 16 divided by 16. That is what it means. So when we have font size here, so we have F size, we can come here and work on the font sizes here. When I refresh our page, we have font sizes, they are the same now because we have not worked on anything. So you can say dot F size. Since the classes are separate by themselves, we don't have to use any other element selector there. We can say font size. We can begin with maybe 10 pixels. The default is 16 as we have read. Let us look at another one. Font size 2. We change this maybe to 30. This won't be, it's a double. F size 3. We maybe say font size. Can see there is larger, smaller. Okay, let's pick larger. Let's first see these first 3 items, how they look like. So 10 pixels, 30 pixels. Do we have F3 there? Okay, you can see where the error is coming from. 3 is not inside the quotation marks, so it would not work. So when we refresh, larger is looking like this. So larger is actually smaller than 30 pixels. Just here. So let us look at then em. After we remember we said to use them properly, set the body size or the font size of the body to be 100%. Then from there we can say em, so like em1, this one here, we said 16 out of 16, which is the default, creates 1 em, so we can say font size maybe 0.625 em. What does this mean? This means that it is 10. We are dealing with 10 pixels divided by 16 to create the EMs. We can pick a calc here. Maybe it help us verify that. So we are saying that 10 divided by 16 would give us what we are looking for. We could so this would be 10 pixels divided by 16 pixels to get the EM. We could look at another kind of usage for maybe what is 30, because up there we had used 30 pixels, so this would be 10 pixels. Can put it in 10 pixels, comments divided by 16 pixels. We could as well have .em2, and then we say font size maybe 1.75 em. This would translate to if we have here 30 divided by 16, we have 1.875. so this would be 1.875. This would mean that we are dealing with 30 pixels divided by 16 pixels. So when we refresh our page here, we can see a replica. Remember, this was large, this is 10 pixels, it looks exactly like this. This is also 30 pixels, looks exactly like that. So those are two functions. One more could be what we call font responsiveness, that a word can enlarge together with the page enlarging or reducing in size. So that is font responsiveness. We can also use viewport width to make sure our text is very responsive, in that when the page is resized or moved about. There is also what we call viewport height and viewport width. You can read more about those. So how does this one function? We can head back to our HTML here, then we say hr br, then we say maybe dot font respo for font responsive. Then we have a paragraph that says keep studying, buddy, keep studying, something like that. So when we refresh our page here, we shall see those words down there, small as they are. Then we can choose to design them differently. We can choose to say that if responsive, okay, the whole class for now, since there is nothing else we need, we say font dash size, probably let's say 8 VW. This would mean that we are picking the as 8 viewport size, eighth of a hundredth of the viewport size. So when you simply say, for example, 1 VW, you are simply saying, get me only or use only 1% of the viewport width, since the page is considered to be 100% by default anyway. But in cases where you are not sure, just set the page to 100%. So when you say 8, we are saying occupy 8% of the width, the viewport width, whatever size of the viewport you are using, or of the screen you are using, occupy that space. When we refresh our page, here it is quite big. That's how our page is. So now when we minimize our page, Maybe that one is a bit quick. We can expand our page, assuming our page was like this, and then we minimize it, so it does like that. When we keep pushing inside, you can see the size keeps reducing by itself. Okay, you can see the size keeps reducing by itself, and that is mainly because we set the viewport width. So that is text responsiveness using viewport width. We could add an H3 here to say this text responsiveness. So if you have read and gone through the tutorials up to this far, congratulations. Please make sure you watch or you read about what we call font shorthand, where you can simply use font as a property and then supply all the property values we have looked at: the size, the type of font, the weight, and you will be able, the style, you will be able to see what follows each other, the style starting and all other things. Then make sure you include it in under here, because I will be looking for it as I mark your assignment. Now next time, after this, we should be able to start looking at web fonts, how to insert external fonts into our work. We shall look at icons, we shall look at more overlining, where we look at inline display, inline block. So there is quite a lot here and quite interesting uses of text. Once we are done with these issues of text, you will be almost a big percentage. The rest will be how to position this, how to design this, but text is very important, because if it doesn't look nice, then there is not much you are doing. So look forward to learn how all those work, and then you will be amazing yourself. Catch you in the next